What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Mika Chanel, back with another edition of Mika Chanel is Just Saying. Okay, tonight we are talking about The Real Housewives of Orange County Season 10 Reunion Part 2, okay? So we are, we have one more episode left of the reunion that's coming up next week. This week's reunion, last night's reunion was better than last Monday's, but I don't know. I think what it is that the season kind of drained me with the whole Brooks thing and everything, and all of that. That I just feel like kind of drained from the show a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't know. But anyways, we're going to talk about it anyway. It's Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 10, Reunion Part number 2. Let's get into it. We start off, they're talking about, for some reason, they want to start off with all the weird things that all the ladies have done, like with Heather and Terry getting the leech treatments done, or where they remember when they put those leeches on their stomachs and Heather's damn belly was bleeding all through Tamara's party. And the coffee enema that the nutritionist had told Brooks to be on or whatever. And then they finally get to Shannon and her damn colonic and breaking the dang on plastic off up in their butt or whatever, which is just so weird. Who does an at-home colonic? I mean, where do they even do that at? Like, what do you go to Walgreens and you just be like, can I get one of them colonics over here? Like, I mean, what do you do? Like, ew. And then they just had to show again the scene with her with the dang enema bag thing, and she's like holding it under the sink, and David's standing there, and he's looking all like, ew, you look nasty, this is disgusting, or whatever. So then once they get done rolling the clip or whatever, they start talking, and she's just like, and Andy's like, so David actually had to go in your butt or whatever, and Andy's like, the whole time I'm watching this scene, all I keep thinking is, this is not the way to make, bring sexy back to your marriage. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I'm with you, Andy, going, because it was disgusting. And I don't care if I thought I had some plastic stuck up my butt. I would not call my husband to go look for it, okay? I would just squeeze it and hold it tight and take my ass to the emergency room, okay? And let a doctor do it. My husband is not looking at my butt. That's that's disgusting. And then they talk about Vicky and the whole circle jerk thing, which when she said it, I didn't know what it meant. And then Brianna was like, ew, do you know what that means? And I didn't even think to look it up at that time. So I looked it up last night when I was watching the episode. And ew, it's gross. Y'all, for those of y'all that don't know what a circle jerk is, the first definition, I saw 3 different definitions that popped up. The first definition that popped up was when men get together and form a circle and masturbate. Like, why? Well, what's the purpose of that? Like, men do stupid stuff, There was a couple other definitions, but that was the most, that was the funniest, and I'm thinking that that's probably the most widely used definition of it. Ew, how gross. Men are stupid. I already told y'all that. I tell y'all that in almost every video. Men are stupid. Who does that? Really? Ew. I'm glad I don't have a son. Anyway, so then they start talking about Heather's house. And how, what's the status on it. She said that they said it's going to be done by January. So she's thinking probably early spring. I'm like, when are y'all going to be done with this dang house, girl? You've been building it for like 3 years. I don't know if it's been that long, but it's been at least 2. And they just kind of talk about the budget and stuff like that. And Andy's like, how are you that much over budget or whatever? And she's just like, you plug in numbers. It wasn't like a set budget at first. We plugged in numbers. We knew we were going to be a little bit over. Someone had wrote in a question saying that isn't like $600,000 too much to spend on cabinets. And she's like, yeah, but it's all relative to the size of the house. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, if you're building, a $10 million house or how many ever millions, I think it's like a $10 million house or something like that. You're not about to put, no dang on Home Depot cabinets up in there, okay? You're not. It's just not going to happen, so. And Andy's like, so what is your budget? And she's just like, I really don't know. So, you know, I don't know if she just didn't want to say at the time what the budget was, or if she really doesn't know. I don't think that she doesn't know. I think that she just doesn't know, doesn't want to discuss it. And then Andy had a question that this guy, or I don't know, guy, girl, somebody wrote in saying, you know, it seems like that her husband Terry, Heather's husband Terry, is missing a lot of the kid's life. So, is it worth all the money that he's bringing home for him to be gone so often or whatever? And I'm just like, you know what? People always got something to say. If the man didn't work, they'd have something to say. You know what I'm saying? And Heather's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like this all the time. You know, he's going through a TV show, you know, and it's just a little hard right now because, you know, he's filming Botched or whatever, you know, and then he still has his practice. And Vicky jumps in and she's just like, you know, I commend you on making your marriage work throughout this tough time because, you know, it was hard for me to make my marriages work. And, you know, Don, her second husband, Don, he felt like he was in her shadow a lot or whatever. But, you know, and then Megan said, like, well, Megan, okay, first of all, she was trying to make a point, but, you know, she made it from a, you know what I'm saying, privileged little rich girl point of view. But anyway, so this is the point. She's like, you know, there's a lot of, you know, people look at Terry making so much money, but there's a lot of fathers out there that don't make nearly as much money as Terry, and they still work a lot, and they're still away from home. And she's like, my dad was a lawyer, you know what I'm saying? He didn't make a lot of money, and he was still going a lot. And I'm sitting there like, really, girl, your dad was a lawyer, he didn't make a lot of money, he was going like, okay. Anyways. But I got what she was saying, though, because it's true. There's a lot of families where the mom and the dad are out of the house a lot, and they aren't necessarily bringing in a whole bunch of money. People work to take care of their family. You know what I'm saying? He's supporting the type of lifestyle that they want to live. And fortunately, Heather can stay home with the kids, you know. They don't tape Botched all year round. So, you know, it is what it is. I just think that people always have something to say. You know what I mean? Just somebody, it's just, people just always have something to say. And like, I understand it's a reality show and, you know what I'm saying, they're putting their lives out there for us to look at and dissect. And I know everybody has their own opinions. But sometimes it just sounds like people are just hating, you know, just hating because, you know, they don't have what these other ladies, what some of these ladies have. I just feel like that's the case. Or, and I'm not even talking about like financially, because there could be a lot of women out there that's very rich that don't have the amount of freedom that some of these ladies have. You know, it's like some people just always have something to say. It don't matter if you're rich, if you're poor, somewhere in between. Somebody always has something to say. And it's just like, why don't you just, you know, watch it? And, you know what I'm saying, if you want to give your opinion, give your opinion. But I mean, I guess, I don't know. What am I talking about? Because I give my opinion all the time about the ladies. So, you know, I can't be a hypocrite. But at the same time, it was just annoying. And maybe because it's different from my opinion. Is that why it is, y'all? I think that's what it is. If your opinion is different from mine, it's annoying. That's the moral of the story. Anyways, they go to commercial, they come back, and they have Jim Edmonds out on the couch, right? So Andy asks him, does he think it's harder being a husband of a housewife or being a baseball wife? And he was like, 100% is being a husband of a housewife, you know, just because of all the drama and the stress and the social media, things like that. And he was like, he was at wherever the Cardinals play in St. Louis, the stadium or whatever. I don't know what it's called. I don't know anything about baseball. But anyways, whatever it's called, he said he was there and a lady came up to him and was like, aren't you Megan King Edmonds' husband or whatever? And he was just like, you know, I'm sure that kind of hit his ego a little bit, but whatever, you know, it is what it is. And they kind of talk about him mistreating Megan on the show. And, you know, I talked about it a lot in my other videos about how he just, when he's talking to her, he always sounds like he's annoyed, like he's chastising a child, you know, things like that. And he just basically said he was annoyed. He was like, they were not together a lot. You know, they were only together half of the time. the cameras were in his face. He wasn't ready to be on a show like that. I guess he didn't understand the reality was really reality, and that the cameras were going to be there all the time, during the time that they're filming. So he was just saying, that was annoying. And then, there were some things, because their marriage is very new. So there were some things that they were working out in their marriage as well. And he's like, it kind of is what it is. I wish that, I can't take it back. I said the things that I said, things happened, and, but if I could go back, and he's like, is there anything you would change? And he was like, yeah, I would be nicer to my wife or whatever. And Megan said that, the scenes with her and Jim and him saying certain things, especially when they were at Tamara's party, and she got into the argument with the ladies. I don't think I did a blog on this episode, but remember when she got into it with the ladies at Tamara's sex party, and she pulled Jim in, which I didn't understand what she did, and she, and he went off kind of like, I don't give a fuck what they talking about, don't put me in the middle of this or whatever. She was saying it was uncomfortable to see the scenes, and see him talk to her that way or whatever, but she was saying that it is, what you saw was real, but it's not indicative of, their marriage as a whole, which is true. I mean, people go through things, and unfortunately you're on a reality show and it's going to catch it, and then people are going to take that little small part and think that that's your entire marriage. And I think that maybe if Jim had been on the show a little bit more, if he had been in California a little bit more, then we would have seen different parts of their marriage. But that's all we really kind of saw, was just that little bit, and each time he was like kind of chastising her a little bit. So then they showed a clip where Vicky had said, they will be divorced in 4 or 5 years or whatever she said. And while they were talking about that, Vicky, well, first of all, they showed that, and then they showed her telling Tamara that Jim had told Brooks that they've been married 4 months and 2 months have been bad. And so Vicky's like, I misspoke. And I'm like, what? Vicky, you misspoke? How can you misspeak about something like that? She's like, well, Brooks told me that, it wasn't that. It was like a couple of issues or whatever. Vicky's like, I'm sorry, I just misspoke or whatever. And she's like, I'm like, okay, Vicky. It's just like I said in the last vlog last week, I just feel like sometimes she just talks just to hear herself talk because she thinks she's important. You know what I mean? And so at this time, Heather is starting to get upset, and Heather's like, yeah, just like what you said about Tamara. So I guess she has said that Tamara, because at the sex party, Tamara had on that outfit, that real sexy outfit. She was running around with a strap-on dildo on or whatever. And I guess Vicky had whispered to Heather, she better watch it. She's already lost custody of one kid. She's going to lose custody of another. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe she would say that. And Heather was heated. Heather was like, how dare you say something like that about someone that you've been friends with for this long? And I would, that is just horrible. How would you stoop so low or whatever? And Vicky's just like, well, sorry. She's like, what the hell you want me to do? I said it, and it is what it is. Sorry, move on. Bye. You know what I'm saying? Next topic. Anybody else got questions? Vicky, she didn't have any kind of feelings or anything. She just seemed really zoned out to me during these first 2 episodes of the reunion, and I'm sure it's probably the same throughout the reunion. She really seemed zoned out. I think that this season took a lot out of her. She has had a lot of emotional things happen on this show, definitely. And I feel like from all the seasons that I've watched her on this show, this season, she just really seemed to be defeated a little bit, I don't know. It could just be me, but that's how I feel. So anyways, and then they moved back to Jim because, Heather had cut in on Jim and Megan's segment. So they go back to Jim and Megan, and they asked, Andy asked, did Megan get a prenup? And Megan's like, yeah, I did get a prenup. It was my idea, I'm sure Jim would have probably wanted a prenup anyway, but Megan is like, I brought it up. I didn't want him to question where my you know, saying what I wanted from him and what I wanted from the relationship. And I didn't want his kids to feel like, you know, I was coming in as their new stepmom and, you know, was going to take anything away from them or whatever. I don't see anything wrong with the prenup, honestly. I mean, especially in their case, like, he had his money for so long before they even met. And it wasn't like, you know, they were together and then he got rich. You know, he was already, you know what I'm saying, pretty rich, and he's already had 2 divorces. I don't really see anything wrong with a prenup, even if it wasn't like 2 divorces and all of this and all of that. You know, if you're coming in, protect yourself, because you just never know. I wouldn't do like what Candy Burris did on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, where she, you know what I'm saying, just sprung the prenup on what? Why can't I think of his name right now? Oh my God, on Todd. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, like a couple days before the wedding. But, I mean, it's definitely something that needs to be discussed, you know? I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't have a prenup, but hell, I mean, we ain't got nothing to really try and take from each other anyway. I mean, at the end of the day, we got this house. But, you know, that is what that is. I don't know. But one day, one of us might get rich, right? So maybe I should see. Maybe is there an afternup that I can sign and just be like, if I happen to get rich in the next, like, 10 years, he can't get anything from me, okay? Anyway, so moving on from that. They talk, and then they move on to Shannon and David. They just kind of talk about, you know, how, you know, just everything that we've been talking about, you know, just kind of just rehashing what they talked about on Watch What Happens Live. She says that they're happy right now. I mean, I hope that they are. I really do. Like I said, David seemed to be the happiest in that last episode. I don't know if he knew if it was because filming was over or if he was just, you know, just really having a good time or whatever. But he didn't come to the reunion. He was not on that couch sitting there. And I was like, he probably was like, look, enough is enough. Fuck this. I am over being taught, being scrutinized, having Andy Cohen call me a dick. And, you know what I'm saying? Like all of this. So he was like, no, I ain't even coming, you know. But they didn't even mention him not being there or anything like that. So they just kind of talk, and then he's like, did David ever tell you, like, why? Or do you have a suspicion of why he would have an affair? So then she starts talking about, well, you know, I nagged him a lot and this and that. And then this just really makes Heather and Tamara upset. And Heather's like, don't make it seem like it's your fault. And Tamara's like, you're the victim here. You know, and Heather's like, that's just some bullshit, because if he wasn't happy, he needed to try to fix it or he needed to leave. You don't cheat. You know what I'm saying? You fix it, or you just, you know what I'm saying, or you just leave, you know? And Andy Cohen is like, were you trying to punish him by putting this on the show? You know, he was just wondering, like, why she would air all this on the show. And she's like, you know, no, I was not trying to punish him. And Heather's like, I would have been trying to, you know, punish a little bit, you know. But Shannon's like, no, I was not trying to punish him or anything like that. You know, after we had gone through counseling and our kids had gone through counseling and we talked about it with our pastor, and we just felt like, you know what I'm saying, we could show what it's like to rebuild a marriage after all of that. I don't know if I could have went through all of that on TV, you know, and been as calm and cool and collected as Shannon was, because I mean, he was bogus, you know, and bold, you know what I'm saying, with his affair. So, you know, y'all, the cameras probably would have just caught me just snapping the hell out, like in every turn. You know what I'm saying? They would have been the bleep, the bleep, 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 bleep. Uh-oh, we got to blur that out because she done knocked his ass upside the head real fast. You know what I'm saying? And then we'd be kissing in the next episode, and then I'd be snapping off again. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't even know how I react in a situation like that. But I don't think I could be that calm. I really don't think so. But like she was saying she never thought that she would be the type of person that would stay in a relationship with someone that cheated on her. She, you know, in past relationships, she was always going to leave. But, you know, I guess it's different when you have children. I guess you think about your family or whatever. I don't know, but it went on for like 8 months. Not only did it go on for 8 months, like half the town knew about it, and he was doing it during a time where they had just started filming the show last season. Like, I mean, he was just so bold, and people knew about it. People on the show were talking about it. Like, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot to get past. It really is. But she says that she's about 90% past everything, and she she says that they saw the chick at some event, and she wanted, you know what I'm saying, for David to look and compare, like, look what you got and look at her, you know what I'm saying, and that was kind of funny or whatever. And then the funniest thing though is when Andy Cohen was like, all right, so let's bring her out. And Shannon laughed, but it looked like she was a little nervous though, because you never know with Andy Cohen, because he's a shady ass motherfucker. Andy Cohen is shady as hell, and I wouldn't have put it past him. I don't think he would stoop that low though. You know what I'm saying? I think he probably would have given Shannon a heads up if he was gonna bring this chick out, but I don't think he would have done that. But you never know, because Andy Cohen loves the mess. He loves the messy mess. He loves all the drama, all the shade. He loves all of that. So anyway, so they get a good laugh out of that. And then in the last scene, they bring out Brianna's old annoying ass or whatever. So she talks about a little bit more about why she doesn't like Brooks. She says that Brooks actually hit on her and was trying to show her his penis. Like, really? At Vicky's birthday party when Vicky wasn't around, then I guess she had went and told Vicky, and Vicky called her a liar and was like, he wouldn't want you and things like this. And I'm like, oh my God, wow, okay. So now we're getting a little bit more of the background as to why Brianna doesn't like Brooks. But it still doesn't justify the fact that she never liked him from the beginning. She never liked him from the beginning before anything happened. Like, she just didn't like him even before she knew him. So she made that very, very clear that she did not like him. So all of this other stuff that's happening is just adding on to the fact that she didn't like him from the beginning. You know what I mean? And so I was like, wow, ew. Like, did he really do that? Talking about this nickname is Girth Brooks. Really? Really, Brooks? That's where we going with that. Okay. But then Brianna is just like, she feels like Vicky was being controlled by him. He told her what to think, what to say, what to do. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of got that a little bit too. Coming out of this season, I did kind of get that about Vicky. She even admitted that she likes companionship. She likes to have someone with her. And like, I guess at the time of the taping of the reunion, Brooks had finally moved out. And she said it was the first week that she had ever spent alone in her house ever. She's like, she went straight from her parents' home to her first husband's home, and then to her second husband, and then to Brooks. So she always had companionship and had someone around her. And she's like, she's struggling with that, being alone. I just hope that she doesn't jump into another crazy relationship. And she even admitted that she knew that her and Brooks would not be together for the long term, but she probably would have stuck it out a little bit longer just so she wouldn't have to be alone. And I had even said that. I'm like, I know that Vicky was not going to be with this man long term. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying, he was just there for the moment or whatever. So I don't know. I just really I have conflicting feelings about Vicky. Like, on one hand, I'm like, okay, Vicky, you really were pulling it this season and really kind of trying a little bit. Like, I didn't like how the ladies were doing the whole Brooks thing, and then they didn't really show too much compassion for when your mom passed. But at the same time, like, if you made that comment about Tamara, like, we didn't see that on camera. That was bogus to tell. And, you know what I'm saying, if you would tell your daughter, you would ignore the fact that your daughter just told you that your man hit on her, So I'm having some conflict. But then at the same time, I liked her. I felt sorry for her. She seems a little lost. For a 50-something-year-old woman, she seems a little lost. Maybe she needs to go and write a book with Ramona about starting over yet again. I don't know. But anyways, you guys, that was pretty much the reunion. Next week they're gonna wrap it up. I don't know. I guess a couple more things is gonna come out. Probably, I don't know. We'll see. I didn't really pay attention to the previews that's coming up for next week. I don't really see what else they really have to talk about, though. Honestly, they've already went through the whole Brooks and Brianna thing. They've talked about Shannon and her husband. They talked about Tamara and her custody thing. I don't know, but maybe they'll talk about Brooks's cancer some more, I guess. That's what I'm assuming they're going to talk about. But we'll figure that out when it happens next week, you guys. Until next time, please stay real, stay safe, and stay tuned to Mika Chanel is Just Saying. Bye-bye.